explain to me how someone could make 10,000 in their first month on social media.
So,
many will know you as one of the biggest short form creators around, with millions of followers across all your platforms. You've got some insane cars, including an SV.
I didn't know much about cars, but I really wanted a McLaren 570S. I made $1,000 in a night on a live. I did 1.5 million in a week. I made about 3.6 million when I was 19. The coolest thing I've ever done in my life is I invested 1.3 million into a development that went completely sideways. The guy had gone ghost and I didn't hear anything from him and think he...
I'm going to let you into a little secret. Over 65% of you that watch these podcasts are unsubscribed to my channel, and it's completely free. I've literally built a replica van studio on the other side of the world, flew my carpenter out here and shipped all the materials across just to get to these incredible guests and record these episodes. So if just you could do me one favor for a second, that's get out your phone. It's get your TV remote out, click the up button and find that subscribe button. Just hitting that button will allow me, as I've done numerous times, to level up the guests that you see on this show and make this the biggest automotive podcast in the world. And hopefully you'll take something away from that. So if you see the value in tapping that subscribe button for free, please do it. Cam, shortly I'm going to ask you to explain to me how someone could make 10,000 a month in their first month on social media, which I've seen loads of content with you talking about this before, but many will know you as one of the biggest short form creators around, with millions of followers across all your platforms. And I remember that heartfelt moment where you're actually able to buy your dad a Ferrari 488. You've got some insane cars, including an SV that's parked just behind the van now. But in your own words, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, thank you for that. My name is Cam Casey. I'm 24 years old, and I started social media when I was 18 years old. I started as a photographer, and then I grew my own social medias and started making my own videos, and that's how it grew to what it is now, and it's become more successful than I ever would have thought.
So 10 years ago, you weren't doing social media like you're doing it now. So can you just give me a snapshot of what life was like 10 years ago versus what life is like now?
10 years ago, I was just like a normal kid as like an athlete. I just did football, baseball, wrestling. Like I just did sports like a normal kid and grew up in a normal town. I went to a normal public high school and normal public middle school and just played sports. And that was like my competitiveness.
And your dad was pretty critical to you playing sports as well, right? Like he did a lot to help you with that?
My dad was my coach usually. So my dad often coached me and I would play sports and he would help me out with that because that's what he did growing up. And we weren't really into cars and didn't have any special cars or anything like that.
So if you were playing sports and that was your world, what was like your dream if you could have achieved it, like at that point in your life?
When I was 14, so 10 years ago, it was probably to be a professional athlete. Like I wanted to be like a pro football player, and football as in American football. That was my thing.
So what was the point that your road forked off in two different directions, and instead of becoming like a professional athlete and going down that road, you became the creator that you are today?
It started on Vine. I was a Vine editor. So I would make Vine edits, football, Vine edit highlights. Like there's like House of Highlights now and like all these sports pages and media pages. I used to be one of those on Vine. So I had a page called Football Hits and it would just be like cool, crazy football hits. I would take like NFL footage, cut it up, put music over it and post that on Vine. And that's kind of how I got started in social media. And I started to get like that like dopamine rush of like getting views and growing your followers on social media. Then Vine went away and I was still into social media and doing all that stuff. So I had Instagram and I would just post my photos on Instagram. And I just got really, really involved in Instagram and social media and being a photographer.
Did it all change when like Reels came along? The ability to put a lot of content within 60 seconds into something like, did you start to see that you were growing followers faster, that you knew how to kind of get people hooked when that kind of entered the market?
It was more when TikTok came around. TikTok was a bigger change and shift. And I actually hated TikTok when it first came out. I was like, this is awful. This is terrible. Like, I don't like TikTok. Like, it's cringe. It's like musically, like anyone that's on there is cringe. And I started, because I was in Los Angeles at the time. So I had moved out of my hometown and I went to Los Angeles to be a photographer. And I wanted to shoot celebrities. I wanted to shoot weddings. I wanted to shoot whatever I could to like pay the bills and make money and things like that. And I started meeting all these YouTubers and people that were in the space, and they were like, you should get on TikTok. You should do TikTok. And I'm like, no, like TikTok's cringe. Like it's gross and weird. And I was just sitting around one night and I was like, you know what? I'm going to embrace TikTok. I see all these people making all this money on TikTok. I see these people blowing up, getting famous on TikTok. Like I've always wanted to be in front of the camera more. I've always wanted to make my own videos more. So let me like make some TikToks and I'm going to like embrace this. Like I don't care what other people think. I'm going to go for it on TikTok.
Would you describe yourself as quite an introverted or extroverted person?
Introverted for sure. Like
so
big groups.
Putting yourself on camera for the first time, like back then, that was probably a bigger thing than it would be to like an extroverted person like myself.
Yeah, it was scary. It was scary for sure. And I didn't want to be judged and I didn't want to like have people make fun of me and like that kind of stuff. But I was like, this is what I want to do. Like I love making videos. I love taking photos. Like I want to be on social media, and like now is the best time ever. It's a new platform. There's a high influx of viewers and a low influx of creators, so naturally your views go way up for stupid videos. So I was like, I'm gonna do this, and I embraced it.
Had you ever made $1 prior to putting your face on camera for social media?
No. I made money from photography, and I would shoot these like companies or I would shoot these people, but that was like just because of my photography. I would reach out to these companies, show them my website, show them my Instagram, and I would get a couple $100 to do a shoot. And that was like a big deal for me at the time. And I didn't really realize how much money that you could make with social media.
If someone had told you that you could have made like 10 grand in a month back then, what would your reaction have been?
I've been like, dang, I can like pay my rent so easily. Like I can pay my rent like 2 weeks or a week. Like that would have shocked me.
And then on top of that, if they'd have said that you could do it by creating videos about stuff that you're passionate about, you'd have then had an extra amount of excitement on top of that too.
Yeah.
So we're going along this timeline. I'm picturing this guy, he's in Los Angeles, you pursued photography, videography as a career, you're starting to meet people through doing it, so it's like opening your mindset and opening up a little bit. When was a moment, if you had to pinpoint one, that you think something happened and you were just like, oh my God, and you realized maybe the possibility or some of the possibility of what the now has become was actually achievable?
I started going live on TikTok. So I started posting my own videos and I started going live on TikTok, and I would get donations, and I would go live like every single night for 3 or 4 hours and just like talk with people and answer questions, talk about photography, talk about the stupid videos that I was making, and people would send me donations. And one night I went maybe for like 5 or 6 hours and I made $1,000 in that night. And I was like, whoa, like this is insane. Like if I did this every night, like I could make 30,000 a month. And that like really opened my eyes.
And what kind of level of like following were you at by then?
I was between like 500,000 to 1 million on TikTok.
Wow. So that is still quite a lot. And how long had that taken to build that up?
It was a lot, but not at the time. It wasn't that much, because you make one viral video and you would get thousands and tens of thousands of followers. And I had just started making these like stupid prank videos and photography videos. And I had connections to like kind of famous-ish people in the space. And I was making videos about them or with them because I would do these photography shoots for free, like for completely free. I would say, hey, let me do a photo shoot with you. I'll give you everything. This is completely free, like totally for you. And here's my work. And I think I had good work at the time because people would answer and say yes. So then I started making videos about it.
What is it about you specifically and your videos that at the beginning of that journey that you're talking about then gave you the advantage that made you grow like that?
I think it was the fact of who I was surrounded with and the people that were around me. I was around people that had the same mindset and had the same idea to do the same thing as me. And we were all collaborating with each other. We were all like talking. And whether it's people I was meeting on the internet or people I was meeting in real life, and they were just like, hey, if you do this or this idea, and also seeing other people successful. I would take what I saw as other people having success and replicate it to my own and do it in my own way.
I'm currently recording these podcasts a long way from home in a van studio I built to perfectly match my van studio in the UK. These work trips abroad can be difficult, but that's why I use Surfshark. It helps me work seamlessly from far away and stay protected across all of my businesses. Each day I'm using Surfshark to swap my VPN back to a UK server so that I'm able to access key systems within my businesses at home. I'll also let you into a little creative secret. I use Surfshark when I get back home to the UK to pretend that I'm still in the US. That way my US episodes that I filmed, like the Chip Foose one that I did last time, which has achieved over 1.3 million views, gets pushed out to a US audience. When the recording's finished in the van for the day and it's time to relax, I'm still able to enjoy content from the UK and all around the world. I recently went on a road trip with my friend Chris to Spain, and during that the F1 was on, and I was able to use Surfshark to swap my VPN to a UK server and still watch the F1 in my streaming account. And that's important when I have faces like Gunther Steiner, Ottmar Schaffenhauser and Will Buxton regularly on the podcast. In a world full of thieves, browsing online without Surfshark is essentially like leaving the keys to the van on the bonnet for anybody to steal. You're at risk of all your information being taken. Surfshark protects you from all this while encrypting your data at super fast speeds. With over 3,200 servers across the world, stay safe using Surfshark by clicking the link in the description below or typing out the link that is on screen now. RTSP stands for Road to Success Podcast. So with this link, you'll get Surfshark for an extra 4 months at an unbeatable price. And to make it even easier for you to try, Surfshark also gives you a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not satisfied, you don't pay. So what are you waiting for? Make sure you're using Surfshark, stay safe, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this episode. Thanks, Surfshark. Is there a video for you that you look back on in your journey before all the cars, before everything, that just blew up and you were like, oh my God, this is insane?
There's one video where I put a soda bottle in a clear balloon that looked like a condom, and I put it in a clear balloon and then I just dropped it off of a roof and let it explode in slow motion, and that did over 100 million views, and I was like, whoa, this is legit. This is insane.
But like, I obviously know you because I'm a massive car fan. This podcast is all about guests with a connection to cars. We've literally got an Aventador SV Roadster outside the van, and the list of cars that I've got on here, so that I remember all of them, is absolutely insane. You had an R8 that you sold for GT3 RS. You had a McLaren 620R. Like, you've had Hyundais. You've actually also, it says here, bought a Sprinter. Yes. So like, we both got Sprinters. That's one thing. But to amass those cars from dropping a Coke bottle off a roof to most people is just absolute insanity. Like, when did the actual business side of it start to make sense for you?
That was when Snapchat started coming around. So when I was 18, it was all photography. I moved out of the house at 18, moved to Los Angeles. I'm like, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to figure it out. 18, I was a photographer trying to do photo shoots, trying to make money, like trying to pay rent, like struggling kind of. 19 is when TikTok started coming around, and I was making TikTok videos. I started going live. I made $1,000 in a night on a live. I was averaging like 300-ish to 500 maybe a night on a live. So I was making like 10 to 15 grand a month when I was 19. I saved up like 200 grand. I was really cheap. I was living in an apartment with 4 people. That was a 2-bedroom apartment, and I was paying $600 a month. And I was like, I want to save every single penny that I possibly can. I saved up about 200,000 over that year. So I was making between like 20-ish grand a month, spending $600 a month on rent. I had a Hyundai Kona, like living very, very below my means, spending $1,500 a month, making $20,000 a month.
How did you know to do that? Or why did you have the mindset to do that versus like go and finance a 488 straight away?
I really wanted a McLaren 570S. That was really what I wanted. I didn't know much about cars at that point. I wasn't super into cars. My younger brother is the one who got me really into cars, and I was like, yeah, I just want like a 570S. Like, that'd be so cool. The doors go up. Like, it's only like 150K. Like, I want to save up for that. So that's what I was saving up for.
Was it mad, the fact that you and your younger brother could have that conversation that buying a supercar was actually a thing? Because like, what did life look like growing up, if you was to give us a snapshot back then? There was no supercars around.
No, there's no. I didn't grow up around supercars. I didn't see like Lamborghinis weren't a thing. If you saw a Lamborghini, it would be like the biggest news of the town. Like the cool car was like the Corvette. Like if someone had a Corvette, like that was like, oh, like that's a cool car. And I wasn't even really into cars. Like that wasn't. I was into sports. Like that was my thing. I love football. I love baseball. I love wrestling. I was very competitive. That was like my thing growing up in my town.
So I'm picturing like a dad that's also very much into sports as well. So like if you were talking about yourself, like, oh, you were kind of a bit worried to put yourself on camera because you're a bit introverted, etc. And like dropping Coke bottles off roofs is probably the furthest thing away from football as possible. So like, what did your dad think when you started getting into this? Because people are often influenced not to do something or to do something by their parents. So like, was that a big thing for you?
My parents have always been relatively supportive. They really wanted me to go to college after high school, and I really didn't want to go to college. I was like, let me make this work. I wanted to live in a van, actually. Out of high school, I wanted to get something just like this, and I wanted to do van life. It's like a trendy thing. Have you seen it where people make a little bed? They basically turn it into a home, and I'm like, I can save up enough money, and I'll live out the van, and I'm going to LA. Like, all I wanted to do was go to LA and like make it work. And they're like, no, you have to go to school. So I found a film school in Los Angeles that I went to for like 3 weeks. And then they said, if you can figure out how to pay your rent, like you can do your own thing, you know, like as long as you can pay for your own bills and pay your own rent and things like that, you can do whatever you want. So I made that work after a couple weeks of photography and things like that. I went away from the question.
Quite introverted though. If they'd have turned around and been like, this is ridiculous, like you're literally dropping Coke bottles off roofs, like there's no way that you can make a career out of this. Do you think that would have steered you off the path that you're currently on, or do you think you'd have just kept hammering it?
No, I was very, very determined. I was like, this is going to work no matter what, because I had seen other people do it. My parents had never seen anyone do it, but I had seen, and especially being in Los Angeles, I'd seen like these people do it. Like, I'm like, this is very possible. Like, this is a very feasible thing. And it was only until I started making like over $10,000 a month that my parents were like, oh, like you're actually making like real money. Like, this is good money. Like, so my dad, who's still very, very involved with everything I do with business, we're business partners. I was able to retire him, and now we just work on solely what we're working on with real estate and cars and social media and everything like that. But he just had a normal job, but he was very, very into what I was doing, helping me track my finances, track my expenses, and things like that. And he became supportive very quickly.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's easy to do when you can actually see bank statements with that amount of money in front of your eyes, but other people can't see them. The first things that other people tend to see is when people buy something a bit ludicrous, like the McLaren 570. For you, what was that like going and like buying a car like that for the first time? Did you feel like it was the moment, almost like when you get a plaque on YouTube that like solidified like what you were doing was working and you were actually getting results off the back of it?
So I didn't buy the 620R until, because I wanted the 570, but then Snapchat came around, and then I made like real money, and I was like, whoa, like I have a different budget now.
It was a good job you didn't buy a 570, because when I had mine, it literally disintegrated and fell to bits. So it was a good job that you got into one that was put together a bit better.
I'm a 570 hater now, because everyone thinks my car is a 570 because it's based off of the 570 GT4, but converted street legal, tuned differently, whatever. 620R. So anyways, Snapchat came around, and I was posting my short form videos on Snapchat, and I found out that they were making a lot of money from Snapchat, because Snapchat had a TikTok competitor. Every company was fighting for TikTok's market share and market space, because TikTok was just dominating. So all these platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat was the biggest one that had a TikTok competitor, and they were paying out $1 million a day. And I started posting a lot of videos and just started spamming videos on there. Got a lot of views because they were good videos that were getting views on TikTok. So if they get views on TikTok, they'll get views on every other platform.
Which isn't always the case, right? Because especially with Instagram and TikTok, you can post something to Instagram that will like flop, but it will fly on TikTok.
It is different now. Back then, it was good short form video performs everywhere. So I was posting those videos on Snapchat. I got a call a week into it after I'd posted like 10 videos that I had made 150,000. And I'm like, whoa, like this is wild.
So just to confirm,
Yeah.
10 shorts
10 shorts.
for 150,000.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. They got like 3 or 4 million views on short form stuff.
Which, to be fair, for short form, you've literally got videos on like your YouTube shorts that have done 450 million views. So it's not even like an insane amount of views compared to other videos that you've done, but it was generating that amount of cash at the start.
Yeah, because no one else was posting on it and no one knew about it.
So was it like you and maybe Alex Choi at the start? Because I think he was fairly early to Snapchat as well, right?
He did it well. David Dobrik did it really well. Lance 210, he's like a prank guy, did it really well. There was like 5 or 6 people that had done really, really well. But it was kind of like a secret. Like no one wanted to tell the secret. And
because there was only so much budget.
Me and one of my roommates knew about it, and we were like really going hard on it and just putting out as much as we possibly could.
And what was that stuff like? Because for us to be natural in videos, this is what we'll get onto, like how other people can do the same thing. But to me, to be natural in a video, I have to be passionate about whatever it is that I'm doing. Like, so what content was it? Like, what made up those 10 videos for you?
It was like riddles and challenges and dropping Coke and soda bottles off of buildings and like random weird prank stuff. But oftentimes there'd be no English in the videos, and I wouldn't speak in the videos because when you speak, that limits your audience. You can only do US English speakers. They've kind of done stuff now with like AI and translating stuff, so it's a little bit better now. But I would do non-speaking videos, the most viral type of videos that I could. I put pool chlorine in soda bottles, and that would make it explode. Like just doing wild stuff to get as many views as possible.
And what was kind of the most amount of money you ever made on Snapchat in a month?
I did 1.5 million in a week. That was wild.
Yeah, that's pretty ludicrous.
That was wild.
And that was in the early days?
So that was right when they called me. So I posted like 5 videos, didn't think much of it in a week. Posted like 5 or 10 videos. They reached out to me personally and said, hey, like I got 3 million views. And they're like, hey, like you're qualified for the payout. Like we'd love to have you on the phone and talk about your payout. And I'm like, okay, like, and I was hoping it would be like 10 or 15 grand. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I was hoping it'd be like 10 or 15 grand.
You didn't know then?
I had no idea. Oh, I was hoping it would be like 10 or 15,000. And I'd be like, at the time, I was 19 years old. So at the time I had made, this was like November. So I had made like 180,000 that year. And I tracked it very carefully because I was very into it. And I was like, I want a 570, like making 200 grand at 19. I'm like, I'm doing like pretty good. And I'm like, if it's like 10 or 15 grand, like that'd be a great bump to the end of my year. Like I could make over 200K, whatever. And then when they called and they said, yeah, your earnings are over 6 figures, I was like, 6 figures? Like how much is 6 figures? I didn't know what 6 figures was at the time. And I'm like, 10,000? Like, no, 10,000's 5. $100,000? I'm like, no way that actually meant $100,000 for 3 million views. Lo and behold, it was like 150 something thousand off of 3 videos. And I was like, I have just strike gold. Like, felt like I won the lottery.
But it seems like you've also remained like fairly calm. Like, did you like phone your dad like going crazy?
Yeah, I called my dad. I was like,
what did he say?
He was like, no way. He just didn't believe it. He didn't believe it was real. He didn't actually think that like that had happened. And I'm like, Snapchat sent me an email that said I made $150,000. Like, we'll see. Like it seems pretty real.
And yet in 2020, you made £600 for shooting for an alcohol company, like a video, and that was your biggest gig up to that point.
Yeah.
It's insane how fast you can go from like 0 to hero with these things, but remaining leveled is like one of the other things because people lose it. Like footballers in the UK are known for absolutely losing it the second they earn a lot of money. They end up going and crashing their cars and then Matt has to rebuild them. Like people are just wild with it. But as being like level-headed, like something that's really helped you get to where you are.
Yeah, I think I could very easily have lost it all. I could very easily have blown it all.
What was like a moment that maybe you wouldn't have done again if it was now?
I invested in a project that this is kind of a long story. I could go into it. I invested 1.3 million into a development that went completely sideways and south, and I had to go through an entire lawsuit to get this land back to build this development again. So I got very into real estate, and I'm like, first of all, I don't want to get taxed extremely heavily on, because I had made about 3.6 million that year when I was 19 from the $1.5 million week, and then another $750,000 week, $400,000 week. Like it added up to about 3.6 or 4, like around there is how much I made from the spotlight. And I was like, I want to get into real estate. I want to be able to make this work for me. I want to be passive. And I had been interested in that for years. I don't know why, but I was just like, I love real estate. I want to be able to make passive income. And
this might not last forever as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I knew it wouldn't last forever. I knew that when the news came out, I did David Dobrik's podcast about it. I had a New York Times article about it. Like I knew that like people were going to find out about it. People were going to post about it, and it would eventually go away. So I'm like, let me run this for as long as possible, but let me also make this last, because, and everyone around me is like, save your money. Like, don't blow it. Like, don't be an idiot. And it could have very easily have gone. Like it could have very easily have been all blown. But I bought real estate, and I made one bad investment into 1.3 million into a development project, and the guy had gone ghost, and I didn't hear anything from him. And basically I think he essentially took the money and ran, went through all this lawsuit, hundreds of thousands of dollars in lawsuits, eventually got this land back. And thankfully the land is worth enough where I'm able to recoup my investment now, and now I'm building the project and actually funding the entire project just by myself, and I'll be able to recoup that money now. But it was a disaster.
I've heard that happening to like other people as well. Like even in the UK, I had a friend that had a really successful clothing brand, and he actually sadly lost his clothing brand. He took some money out for a quick property investment, and the guy just ran off with all the capital for like the 12 homes, and he was sure that it was going to be absolutely fine. Like all the dots dotted, all the crosses crossed. He was absolutely sure that it was going to be okay. But you've got to be so careful when getting into stuff like that.
And especially who you partner with. Like I learned a lot of lessons. I learned a lot.
But you also like to teach people a lot of lessons. And that was like in my opening, something that I said to the audience was, what would your advice be? You've made videos on this, of course, but today, like, what would your advice be for someone to get from 0 to 10,000 a month on social media? And why does it matter to you that your mindset might have changed to open up to actually tell people? Because when Snapchat was its thing, you were keeping it close to your chest, like not telling everyone. And people definitely fear the kind of age of the courses everywhere. Like, well, hang on a second. Why would he be telling me this stuff? Because he's just trying to sell me a course. Like, why, for one, do you try and help people with this?
Because this is like the better way to live. It's not a fun way to live life, working for someone else or being stuck to one location. Like I'm able to travel all over the world, and I've been able to travel everywhere I've ever wanted to go, and been able to make money from my phone and make money online. And it's the best way to live, I think. And I don't sell anything about it. I just like to do it because I like to show people what I've been able to do, and show people that's possible to get a $600,000 car when you're 23 or 24. I bought for my 24th birthday. So that's why I do it. And should I tell people how I would make 10,000?
What I'm picturing is one of my favorite programs ever were those business ones where they would take an entrepreneur that's like built X, give him like $100 and a truck, and be like, off you go for 90 days, go and build $1 million company. So if I gave you a phone with a brand new account on TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, there was no name on it, there was no face on it, it had 0 followers. So you got 30 days to go and make 10 grand. Like, what would you do?
I would sell a product with social media. I would develop a product or service, a digital product or service, and sell that through social media. Become and show yourself as an expert in whatever you're passionate about or whatever you're good at, and develop a product or service around that.
So not AdSense.
Not AdSense. AdSense is a great tool once you're large. When you have a lot of views, you have a lot of followers, and you're getting a lot of consistent viewership, AdSense is great. But the best way to make quick, fast money in 30 days on social media is develop a product or service or sell someone else's product or service.
Which is quite interesting because most people would have started like listening to that conversation thinking, well, it's all right for him because like he's got millions of followers or like other people have got this. But what you're actually saying is that as a micro creator, as someone that can build X, it's like, is it the value of the people that are following them versus then?
Yes, the quality of the audience is much better than the quantity of the audience. If you have a really strong quality audience, you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars without getting over 100,000 views a month. You know, like I'm doing hundreds of millions of views a month between all of my social platforms, but it's very viral, very like large scale type content. Whereas you can also be very, very niche and be very, very specific about what you're an expert in or what you're great at and selling either your own product or someone else's product. Like you can have affiliate and make money from affiliates and make a ton of money from affiliates. I know a lot of people that crush it with affiliates.
So short form versus long form in that conversation, because I come from a world that's very much long form. My friends that I'm surrounded with all make videos that every single one of them are north of half an hour long, like probably an hour most of us are making. And then I come to America and one of my friends, Jackson, Captain Crankshaft, you might know of, like he crushes it with short form automotive content and you're crushing it with short form. I look around like all these guys are obsessed with short form. Like, does that also come with the opportunity of brand deals and things like that? Like, why would you choose short form over long form?
Short form's a lot easier. Short form is a lot easier and you have a lot more shots on goal. Like you have a lot more shots to go viral. You have a lot more shots to like figure out what you're doing and you can make 3, 5, 10 videos a day short form. You can't do that with long form. Long form is a very like special curated piece that you have to like only put out once, twice, 3 times a week, maybe if you're like really going hard at it. Whereas short form, you can do multiple a day, you can post multiple a day and you get a lot quicker like reaction and you get a lot quicker like feedback from your audience.
Do you think it's a lot harder for people to get to know who you are though and start to understand your personality with short form, or does that not necessarily matter?
It depends what kind of stuff you make. And it also doesn't really matter. I know someone who makes, the kid I live with, he makes content that's very international. People don't know. He doesn't share his life. Like he doesn't share about his life at all. He just makes great viral content. He did 1.3 billion views on YouTube Shorts last month. And he made a ton of money from it. But no one like knows about his life. He just makes viral challenges, viral cooking videos, and like actually is able to like just pull a ton of views from that. He gets great brand deals. He makes a ton of money from AdSense, and that's like his bread and butter. He doesn't sell anything to anyone, and that's 2 different routes. But if you're going to start from zero, selling something to someone is so much better.
So let's talk about like the feeling of success from all of that though. Someone gets going, they're able to pull in some views, they're able to make that kind of money. But it's what you do with that money. You're talking about you're investing everything that you're doing now, and you're doing it all alongside your dad. But a memory for you that must be like above so many of the others would have been buying him that 488. Like, talk us through the idea of doing that, because didn't you rent him one before actually buying him one?
Yeah, so I rented him a 488 back in Los Angeles. He came and visited me, and I was like, let me rent you. Like, he had always talked about liking Ferraris and liking the 488, and he loved the 488, and I was like, let me rent this for you. So I spent like $1,000, rented it for 2 days when they visited LA, and he was like in love with it, and I was like, this is a really cool feeling. And like, it's still the best thing I've ever done in my entire life. The coolest thing I've ever done in my life is buying him that car. And I was like, I should really do this for his birthday next year. Like, and I really wanted to do it. And it was his 50th birthday in like 2 years from now, or 2 years from then. And my mom was like, just wait till his like 50th birthday.
So you had told your mum already?
Yeah, I told my mom about it. And she's like, just wait for his 50th birthday. Like, do it in a couple of years. And I'm like, no, I have the idea. I want to do it. I want to do it now. And it was an interesting journey.
Who was the first person that you told that you'd actually done that for him?
My brother, I told that I really wanted to do it because my brother was living at home still. So my brother was with my dad at home, and I was like, get him to spec, because my brother always he loves cars. So he always is on the spec websites, like specking out, Bugattis and whatever just for fun. So I'm like, spec out a 488 and ask my dad to spec out a 488 and let's see what he does. and he spec'd a red on black interior with a red like accents. Exactly what I bought him. And he spec'd out this car. And I was like, okay, I know exactly what he wants now. Like, he wants the sports seats, he wants the red, he wants all the carbon fiber options, you know, everything like that. A relatively basic, classic black on red Ferrari. And I knew exactly what he wanted at that point. So that's when I started searching for it.
The day you gave it to him, like what springs to you? Like, what was his reaction like? So we've seen the videos online, but like to you, like what did it look like?
So I found the car in North or South Carolina, one of the Carolinas, in a random state in the middle of nowhere, kind of. And I found the car and I was like, hey, like, this car is perfect. It was $250,000. I'm like, how can I reserve it or hold it? I want to come pick it up a couple days before my dad's birthday. I'm getting it to him as a gift. And they said, oh, you have to like put down a deposit of like $20,000. And so I'm like, shoot, I don't know how I'm going to put down a $20,000 because he has access to all my bank accounts and everything like that because we work together and do everything, all my investments here. So I'm like, shoot, how am I going to do a $20,000 down payment and to a dealership and him not see it for like 5 days? Like, that's not possible. So I called one of my friends and I said, hey,
I need a favor.
I need a favor. Can you put this deposit down? I will send you the money, but you just need to send it to the dealership. So I told my dad, I'm like, hey, my friend, his name's Tony. I'm like, hey, Tony's like needs a loan. He's in a little bit of a tough spot right now. Like, I'm just going to give him $30,000 or $20,000 for this loan. Like, he's my good friend. He'll pay it back, whatever. And he's like, okay, like that's fine. So I sent him the $20,000. The $20,000 then went to the dealership and he had no idea. He thought that I would just like loaning my friend some money. And then I get often invited to like concerts or festivals or events or whatever, just random stuff all over the US. So I told my dad, I'm like, hey, I got invited to a Tate McRae concert. That was because I looked up who was performing there in that city at that time. And I'm like, hey, got invited to this concert. I need to go fly out there. So I booked the ticket. I booked it like normal. I booked a hotel, whatever. And that he saw all of that and he saw that I was booking all that, but he thought I was just going to some concert. He didn't think that I was going to go pick up a Ferrari for him. So we get there. I land in North Carolina. I go get a U-Haul truck and I go get a U-Haul trailer to like trailer this car from North Carolina to Chicago because it's about 16 hours. So I land the day before his birthday and we go straight to the U-Haul place, pick up the car, pick up the trailer, and then go drive to this dealership. This dealership's in like the middle of nowhere. I stop by a Chase on the way there and I pick up a cashier's check for the full amount because I had to buy the car in cash because I couldn't get a loan because my dad would know if I'm applying for a car loan and whatever. It's a whole mess. I also didn't want to have a payment on a car that I'm gifting someone. So anyways, go get the remaining $230,000 in cash, pull that out and have a cashier's check. And I'm like, this shouldn't cash until at least the next morning. And I plan to give it to him the next morning. So I pull the cashier's check out, go give it to the dealership, pick up the car, load it on this U-Haul trailer, and I drive 16 hours back home from North Carolina to Chicago, park it under this, like the road trip was a disaster. There was no AC in the car. It's a whole mess, no radio. Like I was listening to AirPods. It was honestly a terrible road trip.
That's a long 16 hours.
Yeah, and I'm trailering this Ferrari when I like haven't really trailered cars that much, and like the back of this giant U-Haul box truck. Disaster, absolute mess. But safely make it back, and you're also not supposed to trailer a Ferrari on a U-Haul trailer. Like I had to load it on backwards, and it's a whole mess. Anyways, get to Chicago. And that's when I like finally surprise him. So I give him this cardboard box and I put the keys and a Ferrari hat inside of it. And I put the keys under the hat. And I'm like, hey, like, first of all, we surprised him because he didn't even know we were going to be there. He thought we were at some Tate McRae concert in North Carolina. So we surprised him. He's like, oh my God, this is the best birthday ever. Thank you so much for surprising me. And we're like, happy birthday, surprise. Like, that was it. We go get lunch. Whatever, the Ferrari is just like sitting in a nearby parking garage and he has no idea. So we get back from lunch, And I go upstairs and I grab this like cardboard box, put the hat and the key in the Ferrari, or I put the key in the hat and then close it. And I say, "Hey Dad, like you're gonna have to come outside and open this box. Like I got you a gift for your birthday." He's like, "Oh, like you don't have to get me a gift." I'm like, "You have to open it outside though, because it's gonna like pop and explode of like confetti and whatever." I just made up some reason why I had to go open it outside. Sent my brother to go grab the Ferrari, and I said, "Go pick up the Ferrari, bring it around the corner, and when I text you now, pull around the corner." So he comes outside. I say, "Now, like come now, like hurry up, come around the corner." He's starting to open this box, and then just the red Ferrari comes around the corner, and he looks up and he's like, just in shock. He thought I rented it. He was like, "Is this a rental?" And I'm like, "No, like I bought you this car." And he just like broke down and didn't know what to say, and it was a very emotional moment.
So if you have absolute moments of euphoria like that have come from this journey, what is your biggest fear going forward? Like what could break that journey for you, and what is it that you're doing to avoid that? You talked about like you're investing in real estate, etc., but like where do you see like the biggest risks to what you currently do?
I think the biggest risks are just my health and safety, really. I worry about that a lot and I stress about that a lot. And like, I want to make sure that I treat my body very nice, that my dad treats his body very nice, that my whole family, like, I invest a lot into that and making sure I stay healthy. And I think that's like my biggest.
Have you had a moment that's made that a thing, like that's freaked you out?
No, not really, which is weird. But it's always like that's probably the biggest. Has that come from also
like, being known, like, and a lot of people knowing who you are? Does that freak you out a little bit?
I have had scares like that in the past, from being like popular or like, I don't want to say famous. I don't think I'm famous, but popular online. I've had people show up at the house. I've had to get security at past houses. I've had to deal with letters at my door, people showing up at the house, stuff like that, which is not enjoyable.
How does like a semi-introverted mindset deal with like the hate comments and like the scary kind of side of it all? Like, has that been quite hard to suppress? Because anybody that starts doing this and is on that journey, they've got their micro following, they're building it up, they're in a niche, they're trying to earn that first 10K a month, and then boom, like, "I'm going to kill your mum," comes up on the thing. Like, how do you have to get over that on social media? Like, have you had some tough moments from like a mindset perspective with things like that?
The only time that hate comments or anything ever get to me or bother me is if there's some truth rooted in it, or they know something very, very personal about me or something that I haven't shared online. Like, for example, like my address or something like that. That freaks me out a little bit. But general hate stuff, like you look stupid or, you know, your hairline or whatever it is, like that doesn't bother me.
When people often grow in terms of following or like mentally or even like what they're up to and doing, they typically like disconnect from maybe a group that they grew up with, etc. And that can be like a really hard thing. You like mentioned when you went to LA that you fell into the right circles, the right groups, and that you were kind of all driving yourself forward by making videos, etc. Was that the same kind of thing for you? Did you like almost separate from the lads that you were playing football with at the start? And is that something that you kind of just have to deal with when you're on this journey?
I did actually. I had my friends in high school, my really close friends in high school were, because I grew up outside of Chicago. So I grew up like 20, 30 minutes outside of Chicago. So every weekend, the nights, whatever, when I was in high school, I would drive down to the city and do photos, and I would hang out, and those were my friends that I would take the photos with. And those were people in college. Those were full grown adults, like 30, 40-year-old people that I just met through Instagram and through social media. And those were like my closest friends. My actual friends that I went to high school with, most of them were just like school friends. Like you hang out with them at school, you'd see them, you'd play football with them, whatever. Like they were school friends, but like when I was home or doing my own thing, I had my photography, Instagram, internet friends. So people from my high school, there's one person that I was close with. She's actually a girl, been a great friend my whole life, and now actually works for me and helps me with social media and things like that. But Yeah, I didn't really have like high school friends.
What does it take then? If she came to work for you, what does it take to run however many million followers it is across all the platforms now?
It takes a lot, but it takes a lot of work and it's nonstop. And
Explain
it's 24/7.
Because to someone hearing, say, 10 videos or 15 videos for like 150 grand on Snapchat, I think it was 10, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
They'll just think like, what the fuck? Like, that's like you literally made a short. But like, are you scripting these? Are you thinking about these concepts? Are you executing like one or two? Have you got like a plan of how many that you upload over a given week? Like, do you put strategy behind it?
Not as much as you think, actually. Not as much as you think.
The US is different gravy to what we've got in the UK, man.
It's off the rip, really. It's off the rip. I would like to give myself a little bit more scheduling and a little bit more like formality, but I'm not anywhere in any city in any state for more than like a few days, really. I did like 87 flights or something last year. So that's a flight every 4 days on average over the entire of last year. And this year's kind of the same. And I'm never anywhere for more than, 4 or 5 days usually. So that is a tough thing scheduling wise and making consistency wise and everything like that. And I'm kind of just filming off the rip. And I make sure I have things that I do every single day. I make sure I get those out every single day. I make sure I post on every single platform multiple times every single day. And that's helpful from I have like 5 people that are in my group and help me out with everything that we do, and we're making sure that I'm posting on every single platform every single day, multiple times a day.
And who's a creator that you like look up to? Or are you like very much in your own lane?
No, there's definitely like a lot of the OG YouTubers I look up to, like the Paul brothers. I am inspired by a lot. I see what they've done. I would say that them two are probably the biggest. And I actually got to shoot with them like on the come up time. And Jake Paul was the one who put me on a lot in the beginning.
So do you have like that fire inside you in your belly to do the same kind of stuff that those guys have done? Or are you very content and happy living with the things that you've been able to achieve as of now? And do you think it's okay to kind of be like that if that's the way?
I would say I'm very happy. Like I'm a very happy person, but I'm definitely not content. Like I definitely want more, bigger, better things. I'm not content at all in that way, but I'm a happy person, if that makes sense.
Well, I think that's a great way to wrap up what has been a very hot but very interesting podcast to get a look into the life behind Cam Case, the guy that people see for 60 seconds, usually in a reel on the internet. So thank you so much for telling me about how you've got to where you are today. Please make sure to like and subscribe to Road to Success as well. If you want to see better guests every single time, just like Cam here now, then you've got to make sure you're subscribed, and we will see you again soon.